Hi, this is Lada from astrolada.com, and I'm here with the beautiful Krasi, our Babylonian astrologer, who's gonna walk us through January 2019. Happy New Year, guys, as well.
Thank you.
And yeah, through the eclipses as well, according to the Babylonian interpretation using sidereal zodiac, actual constellations. Hi, Krasi.
Hi, beautiful Wada. Hi, everyone. Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you. Yes, we will talk about January. And yes, we need to mention the two eclipses. The first one happening on the axis of Sagittarius, Gemini, including Saturn, including the lunar node, and including Mercury, who is in heliacal phase in a moment of disappearance. So Mercury, basically on the day of the eclipse, is on a phase of mourning, last just 3 days after his disappearance. And this is a bit ominous, Wada. What you think? It's like the truth, the information, the media is a little bit afflicted by this Mercury disappearing, and also darkened by the eclipse. So the axis of Sagittarius Gemini will be a bit afflicted. And this is, of course, very important axis also because the the summer and the winter solstices are there. So this is very, very key axis in terms of our communication, media, spirituality, philosophy, teachings, so many things. So we need to be careful, especially people who have this axis on ascendant, descendant line, sun, moon there.
That
It's
will
good
be
to,
tropical zodiac Cancer and Capricorn. Just for people that are using tropical zodiac, I'm
of
saying
course.
Cancer or especially Capricorn rising or sun or moon. The eclipse is happening there.
Yes, so we need to be with this axis also if it's through your midheaven. It's good to be cautious. It's not appropriate timing, like some 3 months say after the eclipse, it's not appropriate timing for key decisions, important initiatives. It's good to wait for a while. And then we'll have another one happening on the 21st of January, afflicting then the axis of Capricorn, Cancer, and this will be tropically.
Zero Leo tropical.
Zero Leo tropically. Yes. So this axis suffered a bit, because we had the August eclipse there. Yes. And we had all these events this summer happening via this axis because Mars was also there. Now the eclipse is happening without Mars, luckily. So I hope it will not be that afflicting. It won't be that hard. But still, if you have this on the key position, like again, ascendant, descendant, midheaven, lower meridian. Also, if your sun or the moon are eclipsed, be careful during these timings. Also, I know that during the times of eclipse, first, it's not appropriate to watch the eclipses. Second, it's not appropriate to expose your food and water and not to eat during eclipses.
It's a good idea not to eat. Yes, so try to
Yes.
keep light foods because the heavy energies become more present. Actually, the scientific experiments I have watched it how the qualities of food during an eclipse change, and they even say like the food ages as if it's been like a few weeks if it's exposed directly. And it was on YouTube somewhere they were showing.
Amazing. Didn't know, but this is really scary what you're saying. Yes. So imagine the gardens then. If you have your tomatoes in your garden and during eclipse, what's happening? It's exposed. Yes, we can't prevent everything, but yes, this is timing. Well, we can benefit from this in a spiritual way because this axis is very spiritual. Of course, we have Cancer, we have the most secretive, the deepest Capricorn. So let's say that there is also good side of this, but still, if you have this axis, it's really good to be very cautious. Worldwide, this will impact certainly the markets. They will be very volatile because there is statistics if you follow financial strategy that after eclipses the markets go crazy in unpredictable way. So for finances, for investments, approximately around these timings and plus minus 3 months after don't do any important investments. So basically, this is just roughly on the eclipses, which mark January as a month of to be cautious and not to do any new. It's not good for any new initiatives. Just let's enjoy the snow and not do much and the routine. Yeah, and the routine work that you have without taking any risks. And this is for almost everyone because we're collective mind, we're collective um, egregore. So it's actually basically for everyone on Earth, and especially the places where the eclipse is being visible. The second one is going to be seen in Europe, North America, Pacific, Asia, nearly covering all over the world. The first one is not that afflicting. Okay, so what I'm starting month day by day with the appearance of the first lunar crescent, just to say that the first day of January is with the moon in the very last degrees of Libra, and there the moon has no course, void of course, which is not bad, but it's also not so productive. You might do some beauty work, you might do some artistic work, some spiritual work, but it is really the day is not very productive in terms of active business. And also, maybe this is the good for some medical things, but not invasive. And then January 2nd, the moon is together with Jupiter in Scorpio, and this day is not appropriate for medical interventions. It's very good for your routine work, no new initiatives. It won't be really paid off. Fine for travel. Then you have the 3rd of January. The moon is on a very spiritual place in Scorpio. Again, quite good for spiritual work, for your routine work, for some teachings, for some deep studies. Not really very appropriate for new beginnings, certainly not for medical interventions. 4th, the moon is already invisible and is joining the sun, and Saturn is basically 5th and 6th is the time of the eclipse. These 3 days, 4th, 5th, 6th, even 7th, because it is the day after the eclipse, it's not appropriate to do any important activities. If you can, and luckily this is Saturday and Sunday, 5th and 6th of January, if you can do spiritual work, and this is what the ancients did, they will stay even in the temple and pray and meditate and do little. On the 7th is the first lunar crescent for the month, and the moon appears in Capricorn, and the moon in Capricorn in quite interesting, very esoteric and very intuitive place will be good, especially for this. Will not be very appropriate for new beginnings because Saturn, who rules Capricorn, is still invisible. And this is what I forgot to tell you, that Saturn will become finally visible on 4th of February. And this is important timing to take into consideration because this appearance of Saturn can have influence as on mundane level and also on personal level, in terms of work, in terms of achievements of work, in terms of some set events in the world, depending how Saturn is placed on your chart. But certainly on the 4th of February, the appearance of Saturn will be important. So still, 7th of January, it's not appropriate for new beginnings, but it's very appropriate for deep spiritual work. 8th of January, the moon is still in Capricorn, pretty similar situation. Do your routine work, do your spiritual practices. The day is not very appropriate for negotiations as well because Mercury is about to disappear, is disappearing already. 9th and 10th of January, the moon is passing through very beautiful spiritual degrees of Aquarius through the royal star Fomalhaut, the star of the spiritual guru. And this is a place really where you can benefit in a very good way. Do your routine work with intuition. Don't do medical interventions on this day. Do your routine work, and due to the good aspect with Jupiter and Venus, you really may be blessed. No new initiatives. Still, the ruler is invisible. And on this day, you may also travel. 11th of January, the moon has no course. Again, fine for routine work, no particular new things, negotiations, not. Um, on the 12th of January and the 13th of January, the moon is with Mars. Be careful while traveling. Do spiritual work. Don't get involved in any risky situation. No surgical intervention. Do your routine work. You will be supported by Venus and Jupiter, but still be cautious. You may be ambitious for new beginnings. You may have desires for new plans, but be very cautious. This is the case on the 13th of January as well. And on the 14th of January, the moon is entering Aries. And this is very nice because there is also Uranus, wonderful for religious and spiritual practices, good for your, let's say, sport activities, very good for your, if you're ambitious to do new plans at work, to do new activities, but still, it is shortly after eclipse, about to run into another eclipse. So we need to be a bit cautious this month and do our routine works just using our intuition, and everything will be all right. On the 15th of January, the moon is in Aries still. This is quite good, supporting aspects from Saturn with a trine and Mercury. So it's fine for travel, fine for routine work, no new initiatives, no medical interventions. On the 16th of January, the moon is conjoining our goal, star of in Taurus of money, and but also star which can be a bit controversial. So can be controversial because this is the Medusa Gorgon, which can create some enemies. So be careful how you earn your money. But in general, this is quite fine in terms of making money and quite supportive element is this. On the 17th, the moon is with Aldebaran, very supportive in terms of your money, in terms of your routine, business, and earnings. But still, don't forget that after eclipse and approximately between two eclipses, the markets are volatile, and it's really good to be cautious when doing investments and new beginnings as well. But in your routine business, you may benefit a lot. On the 18th of January, the moon is conjoining Capella, another star of money. This is again quite positive in terms of your daily earnings and routine business. 19th of January, this is a bit tricky, you see, because then the moon is receiving the opposition of Saturn, Pluto, Mercury, quite complex, conflicting. So I would say be cautious when you negotiate, when you travel. Just do your routine business, do spiritual work, do a lot of studies, do teachings. Every studies will be supported. Every work which is related to spirituality will be supported, because also the moon is passing on the 20th through the degrees, on the 19th, first through the degrees of Castor, which is the one of the Gemini who is very spiritual. And then on the 20th, the moon is passing through Pollux, the Martian one, the Martian twin Gemini, who is quite really Martian. So we have to be especially careful on the 20th of January while driving and not get involved into any risky business. And then on the 21st is the eclipse. Let's do a lot of good meditation, prayers, and we will be then safe, because certainly there is a way to protect ourselves from such events which happen also every year. On the 22nd, the moon is in the last degrees of Cancer, void of course. And as we said, you can't do much. You can't receive benefits when the moon is void, of course. But certainly your routine work will be fine. Very good day for spiritual work. It will be really rewarded also in terms of intuition, empathy. And then finally, one day I found when we can do some medical interventions, and this is the 23rd and the 24th of January. These are the 2 days where you can really do, if you would have important medical interventions to do. But still, If it's about specific case of great importance, please contact us for specific election, because every organ is being represented by zodiacal sign and planet, and it may be needed to be looked at separately in terms of election. 25th of January, and I forgot to say about the 23, 25, 24 of January, that apart from being able to use the day for medical purposes, medical interventions, on this day, this is the Leo sign, and there you have important royal stars and almost all astrological, esoteric, and all spiritual star, not spiritual exactly, but esoteric, intuitive, astrological stars are there. So you may really benefit in while studying astrology, studying numerology, esoteric sciences, doing knowledge work related to notion and knowledge, secret knowledge. On 26th, 25th, the moon is receiving the opposition from Mars, but it is Virgo sign, so quite good for doing studies, teaching. Negotiations I don't advise, because the ruler Mercury is not really placed in the most appropriate way to use him for negotiation purposes, also for trade, but to study, to teach others, to write. It's a wonderful timing, and this is about 25th and 26th of January. And on the 26th, we can't do much because the moon is void, of course. 27, surgical interventions are possible. Also, medical interventions, beauty procedures, any deeds related to artistic works, craft work. This is gorgeous, especially on the 27th, because then the moon is passing through Gemma, star of with a lot of potentials in terms of art, design, beauty, just name it. If you want to do beauty procedure, now this is the timing, most probably. 29th, the moon is entering Scorpio to join again Jupiter, and this is beautiful. Well, it is nice for philosophical studies. It is nice for sharing your knowledge. It is nice for doing your routine work, for having, you will be rewarded in terms of friendships, in terms of if you're empathic, if you are merciful person, and if you help others on this particular, always by the way, but on this particular way, it's very appropriate. This is 29 and 30 of January. On the 29th, the moon passed also through the sacred degrees of Scorpio. So really, you may use this timing to enhance your intuition with numerous practices from any philosophical teachings. So it's 29th is a very good timing. And then 30th, similar situation. On the 31st, the moon is entering Sagittarius, and there the moon is meeting already Venus. Very nice for friendships, again for studies, again for, you may do some surgical interventions, you may do beauty procedures, you may travel as well, negotiate, you may not, new beginnings, you may not. You can certainly do your routine work, and it will be rewarded if you do everything with efforts and with good intention. So this is happening when on the 31st of January, and then the moon is about to approach the sun, and shortly after that will become invisible. Yes. And with this, we complete. First, it approached Saturn, which conjunction is not very appropriate for risky business. Saturn is still invisible, looks very quiet while invisible, because malefic planet while invisible.
Saturn's becoming visible on the 4th of August, January.
4th of February, yes.
February, okay.
4th of February is becoming.
That's when it becomes visible. Yeah.
And let's see what kinds of events this will bring. Some may not be very positive in terms of Yes, let's not be negative, but some events may not be really very positive. So it's good to be cautious on his around his appearance, 7 days before and 7 days after.
We celebrated Jupiter and Venus's appearance, and now Saturn. Oh.
No, I certainly believe that it's up to each one's level of spiritual awareness, level of consciousness, vibrational level, and we can really deal with this.
Yeah, and also people that are in Saturn careers, they can start
Oh
manifesting.
yeah,
People
oh
who
yeah.
are in the leather industry, people that work with old people in institutions, and
Also, if they expect promotion, for example, and their Saturn is well placed, they can get this promotion during his appearance, right?
from the start
Or
of February.
very
Yeah,
or money.
and Capricorn ruled people like me will start feeling a bit better as well.
Yes, so depends how Saturn is placed in the chart, but certainly his appearance will lead to events on mundane level, very possibly.
Thank you so much, Krasi. Guys, if you want to
Pleasure.
contact Krasi for personal reading, or she creates also talismans like the one I wear, and I started seeing all over the internet people taking pictures with that ring, you know. You've been getting people from around the world asking. You can contact her again from the form below and check her services. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, this year
Pleasure.
starts. This year starts.
Well,
In
there is
10.
a good thing, Wado. There is one good thing that the astronomical year starts a bit later, better, and starts better. Because, the astronomical year starts with the first lunar crescent before the vernal equinox, like the Sumerians did, not the Babylonians.
So
And this is on,
the spring equinox, this is
yeah,
when the true year starts. So
and
that,
this is 8th of March, and it's a bit better. So let's hope that this will improve the things from March on.
yes, that's actually how astrologers predict world events. They don't look at the first January.
Exactly.
They look at this equinox. Uh,
Yes.
in the West, we look at Ingress on the first day of spring, basically. But yeah, in Babylonian astrology was this way. So good to hear that. We're still
Yes. This is something to like a bit of to give us a bit better feeling that we are not starting with eclipses, we're ending with eclipses, and we're starting with a
good.
fresh new start.
I like that. Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you, beautiful Krasi,
Thank you,
for
beautiful
your
Wada.
knowledge. And have a great month ahead. And we'll see you again in a month with Krasi. Bye
Thank you,
bye.
everyone. Bye bye.